Morning, everyone. I just got up. It's actually kind of late. It's 11 o'clock. I slept in. For a reason, you know. Which I was gonna do a video last night about it. But I didn't. And I told everyone I was. But I didn't realize it was Saturday. I wasn't thinking when I said that. And Saturday is a really important day for me, man. I really go out of my way to I really do. I put in so much effort into spending time with God on Saturday. And there's many reasons for it. First, I run myself to the ground all the time. Helping people, working, doing favors for people. Like fixing their cars, that type of shit, they gotta go to work and I'm fucking out there wrenching on their car for $100, beating my body to death, you know what I mean? Because it's family or a friend, and, they don't ever really appreciate that stuff, They really don't. They don't in the end, they're happy they got a car, they give you money and then they just go. They don't come back or appreciate it. They just call you when they have another problem again. That shows you that they don't appreciate you, Because if they appreciated you, they'd be over. They'd call, That's another topic I wanted to touch on, man. Friends, family, man. It's hard to find good friends. It's hard to find good people, man. It is. I don't care what anybody says. It's nice out today, man. I really don't want to sell my truck. I was planning on painting it. There's no rust on that truck, man. It's a 97 and it's very, very little rust, man. There's no rust. And it's my favorite truck. It reminds me of my childhood, My dad had that truck, it wasn't the SUV, but my stepsister used to steal it all the time that passed away. She passed away from cervical cancer, man. She left 5 kids behind at 30 years old. She was only 30 something, man. It's insane, and I miss her, but that's another story. But, yeah, dude, I don't want to get rid of it. And I think God knows that. That's why it hasn't sold, man. I really believe that's why all my stuff, all my furniture haven't sold yet. Because everything else sold and none of that stuff was in my heart, The rest of this stuff's in my heart. I worked really hard for this stuff, man. And then I had people telling me that I wasn't doing anything, or, I'm gonna go right back to prison, or, right back to that lifestyle, running drugs or doing drugs or, whatever it was, and it really irritated me because I was never like that, like growing up, I worked really, shoot, I got stuff everywhere. But, I had jobs before, I ran businesses before. That's why I didn't understand why people were acting the way they did towards me, and it was frustrating me. I don't like living alone. I mean, I do. I love living alone, having my own place, it's nice, I can walk around here naked and, all day, and it's a small home and, I can afford it, by myself. And not have to worry about missing payments or, don't. That's another thing too, man. I'm going to be in international waters, and legality of things and everything else is frustrating me, I do all this studying and, things they gotta be done right. They gotta be done right. They gotta be done legally. I gotta make sure that everything is secure on the boat. And I finally found 2 boats. So about sailboats, man. A lot of people don't know about sailboats, you know. Sailboats are obviously built by people. And the fiberglass, most of them, which are great for salt water. They're cheap. They're, you know, you only have to, you can sail, you know, on the water all year round, you know, down south, and only have to paint the hull, you know, the boat once a year. You know, it's very little maintenance, you know. As long as you don't crack the hull or run into something, you know what I mean? You're good. You're okay. But these boats, you know, they're old, and that's what I want. I want a boat that's old, and people. I have to be able to sail this boat myself. And you know, if somebody's with me like Margarita, you know, it would be even better with her. Um, so I can't really go bigger than 37 foot, 40 foot, 40 foot, 40 foot boat. Me and Margarita can sail it. Um, but I would need her. That's the problem. Is I wouldn't be able to sail the 37-foot boat by myself, efficiently or safely. Um, the 30 foot, yeah. I could probably get away with the 37 foot, you know, it's 7 foot longer, you know, but it's hard to see, you know, starboard or on the other side, you know, it's hard to see in the front and when you're in the back, you know, that's why, you know, you got to have other people. And, you know, the sails too, you know, you got to be able to pull the sails up and down. And, you know, the more sails, the longer the boat, the more people you need, you know, it just can't do it by yourself. It's not possible, physically possible. So, so that's another thing is finding boats, you know. These boats, they only made so many of them. Like the one I'm looking for right now, they only made 400 of them. And that's not that many if you think about the whole world, you know. But that's 200 grand for that one. You know what I mean? For the 37-foot boat. You know, I can get one of those for about 220 grand, fully loaded, ready to sail. Will it have, you know, all my equipment and stuff? No. But I also don't have that type of money either yet. Um, I don't have $200,000. I don't. Um, the boat that I'm looking at, the Santana 3030, which is the nicest one that I found, the setup wise, but I'm not gonna have a shower. And most sailors will tell you, you don't need a shower. Like, you know, a toilet's good enough, you know, which is great and all, but, you know, if I'm chartering, you know, people want to be able to enjoy themselves, you know what I mean? I want them to be able to shower, at least shower, you know what I mean? Take a shower in the morning or at night, you know, they're dirty. And I want to be able to shower as well. And, it's very, very, very hard work to find a boat with a real shower, a stand-up shower where it actually has, you know, a drain. And, you know, there's also, you know, I might build one, you know, I might find a boat that has enough room where I build like a bathtub in there, you know, because I like to lay in the bathtub, you know, and you're limited on room in the boat, so. You know, the Santana 3030, I was looking at the back of it, you know, in the very, very back of the boat, there's two beds, you know, you got the most area. And I'm thinking about maybe taking one of the beds out and, you know, just building something there, you know what I mean? That, you know, me and Margarita can just lay in and relax, you know what I mean? And, you know, with a little shower head, you know, and shower off and stuff. And heat, water, hot water, that's really important to me, man. And none of these boats, they have, you know, they're sailboats, you know what I mean? They don't have hot water. You know, they got a water maker on there, you know, to desalinate the water to, you know, so you have water to drink. But I gotta figure all that out when I get down there, you know. And I found a website So that was the biggest problem of mine was finding the biggest problem of mine finding a boat right now is finding paperwork. Proof that they went where they say they went. And I know I can look at the paper and see proof that this vessel went from Florida to Europe and then back. And then I can say, hey, okay, well, this boat has been on the water for this many hours. It's made it across the sea a couple times. I can look at the boat. I can see if there's any stress cracks. I can see how and that's another thing too. A lot of these boats are already out of the water. And these people don't want to put them in the water because it costs money. They're ready to get out of it. They don't want to be in. They don't want nothing to do with the boat no more. So it causes problems for me. And that person isn't going to go out of their way for me. So that's why I'm trying to get down to Florida, man. Well, I'm not trying. I'm going to Florida. That's why I'm going. Pensacola. That's the area I got to go to. It's going to be cheaper there, man. I've been doing the research. It's just going to be cheaper. It's a slower lifestyle over there, Pensacola. In like Alabama. It's just, people move slower down there because it's hot. You have to move slower. If you move fast, you're going to die. That's just how it is. It's heat. And I'm heading down to the heat. I need to thaw out. So, but last night, I wanted to do a video and talk about Sabbath and stuff. It's really important to spend time with him, man. Spend time with him. Read the Bible. I don't do. Here's the thing with the Sabbath. A lot of people get confused. Because I did a lot of studying, and I go to church and I, preach and teach, and I help younger students and stuff. I help people, and I do study. I study a lot. But Sabbath is first of all on Saturday, if in case anybody knows. But if you ever read Genesis, God says that He created the universe, the earth in 7 days. Which, if you think about it, is pretty amazing. And, people don't understand, God can flip a switch like that, boom, and this whole thing just be gone. Just done, if He wanted to. And people don't realize He's really slow to anger. He is. He's really slow to anger. I know this because I'm slow to anger now. I used to be, really, bad. But He's slow to anger, and, He wants people to know who He is, and I always hear these stupid comments like, I've never seen Him, You can't see Him. If you read, Genesis, the Bible clearly says that God came, to Moses in a bush of fire, and then, it's done. God lit the bush on fire to get Him to stop, which the bush, it clearly says the bush was on fire and it never burnt. It was fine after. Like, what? And then, He heard the voice. And he didn't even want to go. He was like, fuck you, dude. I don't know what? I'm hearing a sound and a flaming in the bush and I gotta listen to you? And He did, and, good thing He did. But He did. And, and when He went back to the people, to tell the people that God, is gonna, get us out of slavery, they didn't believe Him, but when they finally said, let's go to the mountain to go see God, they didn't want to go up there. They were scared. And then why would they be scared? They clearly said, if we go up that mountain, we will die. We will get burned to death. And Moses, God clearly said to Moses that they are right. They will die. I will cook them. My glory, they're not pure enough. They're not. God is pure light. He'll cook you. People don't understand that. God is light. God created the whole universe. He overcomes His light over darkness, and He needs you. You know, he needs you to fight the darkness. You know, he wants you to ride with him. You know, ride on the light. And there's so many books that speak about it, which I'm going to talk about. I'm going to bring up, and I want to talk about it now. But you know, a lot of stuff I'm going to be speaking about, saying, you know, people are going to be hypocritical, and do I care what they think? Yeah, in a sense, as far as they change their life and find you know Jesus, you know, which you don't find Jesus, you just answer the phone call because he's already calling everybody, man. He's calling everyone already. So he's in your heart. Everybody knows right from wrong. They do. They just do. I don't care what anybody says. And it's funny making these videos too. I haven't got any comments yet, and I know why. Because everything I say is right. I ask God for the words to say before I even get on the phone. That's the truth. That's the truth. Because I've had so many problems, man, and I don't want any more problems. That's another thing. So, I didn't really make a video last night. I go through estate sales. I buy stuff. You know, I gotta make money. And I like nice stuff, so, a lot of it. I go to estate sales, you know, and I buy stuff, and, came across this Bible, you know. Actually, the person had quite a few stuff. They had a Strong's Concordance, which I needed, which I wanted. I had one in prison, but, you know, they don't let you take the books there. And so, you know, I bought these books from them, which these I had in prison. You gotta read these. Ellen G. White, the best books ever about the Bible, period, that I've read so far. You gotta have a New King James Version. And then they had the Bible Encyclopedia, and they had the Strong's Concordance. And, you know, and then they had this too. They had the Nursing Drug Handbook, which is nice to have on the boat. Not only for substances, you know what I mean, for pain, or for, you know, somebody gets hurt, or, you know what I mean. I know the adverse effects of it, you know what I mean. I know what I can use, you know what I mean? I know what I can bring on the boat. And you gotta remember too is, I'm gonna be in different countries. You know, the stuff's named different, you know? They don't have the same type of substances that they have in America, you know? And I got stomach issues, which I'll be making videos on and stuff. And that's what kind of forced me into yoga, and eating healthy and diet, which was not eating right and not exercising and not drinking enough water really messed me up, man. And yeah, I remember too, I had over a decade of abuse on my body. You know, all the drugs, and, you know, not just taking care, just running, you know, ripping and running, you know, not and, you know, all the bikes and motorcycles and accidents and, you know, tricks, and, you know, so my tooth is chipped, you know, like from smacking my head off somebody else's head, you know, my fucking tooth, bam, from fighting, you know, and so it's chipped. But yeah, I'm thinking about going downtown today, man. I didn't even get down there the other day. I was pissed. Because I want to go down there, man. I love it down there. And I was right on the border. Like, I was right in Southwest Detroit. But it took forever, man. It took me 5 hours to get down that far. You know, but it didn't help that I was stopping and taking pictures of stuff. And I don't know what I'm going to do today. I really don't. I got to finish packing up, and all this furniture, I don't want us take it with me, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I need the money, man, and I could use the money. I gotta get a car. That's another thing I've been struggling with. I gotta find a car, and it's gotta be manual. And the Geo Metro, I sold the motor. I had a motor for the Geo Metro 3-cylinder, 5-speed manual, and The car only had 90,000. So I was working at Michigan Imports, and this old guy come rolling in the my work that I was at in a Geo Metro, a 95 Geo Metro, which I had a 94, so they're a little different. Just slightly. They look different, but everything else is the same, pretty much. For the most part. So he came rolling in with this Geo Metro, and I haven't seen one in a long time, like anyone driving one, besides the one I drove and blew up. Anyways, the thing was rusted out completely, dude. He had a 2x4 underneath the seat. You could see the ground. The only thing that was keeping him from hitting the ground, the pavement, was the 2x4. And it's insane because this guy, he was an old guy. He was like in his 70s or something, and he was really meticulous. Like, you could tell, like, he was really smart and intelligent and like really eccentric, and I was like, man, dude, this car is a piece of shit. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. And he just showed up. He didn't call or anything like that. And he come to my boss. My boss had been there for a long time, he's been there since the 50s. It was his dad's company, his family company. And the import place, a lot of people know about that place. And the guy knew that, they had Geo Metro parts, and those parts are hard to find. But the guy called, and the guy was like, I want to sell my car for scrap, And my boss was looking at it, and all of it's rusted, and those cars are so light, and the car really isn't really worth much in scrap. It's not. It's not worth anything at all, really, but we popped the hood, and the motor was pristine. Like, the dude said he bought it off the line. He said he bought it brand new, and he's had it the whole life. And he said he just drove it and drove it and drove it. That's what he bought it for. And he said, the body rusted out before the engine, which is true. That's what they do. Those cars the metal's so thin. That's why they rust out so fast. And that's what I'm restoring one. That's why I sold the motor, because I still gotta, I bought the rockers, which were hard to find. I gotta put those in. It's a lot of work to do all that stuff. And I gotta do other things right now. But I bought the motor, man, and I sold it, and it's messing me up. But I don't have time to fix the car right now, so that's why I sold the motor. And I knew somebody needed it. And I posted it with the trans and the motor together for $500. The kid paid me $450. He showed up with his girlfriend in a van, and he needed a transmission. His was smoked, and it's funny too, because people lie, man. It's frustrating, right? I didn't really want to sell this motor, right? And this kid was like, yeah, I can't wait to buy the transmission and drive this car, all around, and that's why I kind of sold the motor to him, the transmission, was because, I want him to be able to drive the car. I love those cars. And sure as shit, he gets it in there, right? What does he do? He posts the car for sale. Like, I get it, you want something different, or maybe it has problems still, you want out of it now, and maybe it's too small, the car's a small car. But it kind of frustrated me, and because I could have that transmission right now, and possibly be putting it in that car and be heading down to Florida and a 3-cylinder, That car is really unique. You don't ever find 3-cylinders. They're really rare. And I popped one, and it kind of hurt. The kid lied to me, too. I drove all the way to Indiana. He told me that the car would make it back, no problem. I get there, right? And I already drove all the way over there. I wanted the car. I wanted the body. I wasn't really concerned about the motor, and I already had money to put to the side, to tow it back in case something happened. So I already, when I got there though, the head gasket was leaking, man. Like, you could just see the oil coming out the side of the head gasket, pouring down the side of the engine. And this kid is telling me that it'll make it from Indiana to Michigan, and that it burns slide oil. He didn't tell me that he replaced the head gasket, that the oil was dripping down the side of the motor, and that he was stopping on the side of the road every couple miles and putting oil in it just to get it to from work and back. People don't, this is why it's so important for me to have these papers, man, on the sailboat, because I can't play around. I'm gonna be going on the ocean. That boat sinks because I mislooked something. I'm not allowing it. It's not gonna happen. I will not get on that boat unless I have proof. And it's got to be documented, It's got to be signed. It's got to be, and you can tell when boats are lived on. People like buying stuff from where they're at, and they personalize stuff. That's why I look for stickers. People always put stickers on the boats from places they go. That's just how it is. And if there's no stickers on the boats, most likely they haven't traveled much. And that's another thing too. I'm having a hard time with finding a proper sailboat. Most of them are down south. Everything up here is our blue water sailboats, which I can use on the ocean. They're under 40 foot. Most blue water boats are under 40 foot, and those are the ones I can sail. But they don't have really heavy keels to balance the boat. And there's other things too. And I gotta have, and it's gotta have the drive that comes out. It's gotta come out from the bottom of the boat. It's got to. And I gotta have a Volvo Penta engine. So most of these boats, they're gasoline equipped. So I might end up having to buy one with a gasoline engine because of my situation, money, and then go find me a Volvo Penta diesel motor. It's gotta be diesel. It's got to. First of all, diesel is not refined, so it'll be easier to obtain in other countries. First of all, because it's not refined. It's dirty. It takes less work. It takes less money, to do it. So with the diesel too, I can throw anything in it. Those Volvo Penta motors, they can run anything. Really, honestly, I mean, I can throw any type of diesel, kerosene. I can change things out on the motor. I can make it run on different things. There's a lot more I can do with the Volvo Penta. And they call it a Morgan. It's those motors, man. They're. I gotta have it. I have to have it. I have to have it because you can't sail into the marina. That's dangerous. It's not always going to be windy. I got to be able to move if I'm chartering people, they'll pay for, I'm going to make sure I compensate for gas and all that stuff, and also safety, I want to be able to move if there's no wind, and everything else, what if my sails break, you know what I mean? Or they get a tear it in, I can't fix it. I got the motor, I got a backup, and then I'll have an outboard as well on the boat somewhere. A small one, for that, in case the diesel stops working, I can putt around with that, So I got all these different things in my mind, and I gotta get down there. That's hard to do. Because I have a feeling I'm going to have to put all this stuff in a storage unit. And I already have one, so I don't know if I want to just get a smaller one in the same place and just put all my furniture in one, and I'll keep my car in the other one, or what. Because all this stuff won't fit. It won't. It just won't. And I gotta go get food. I ate the rest of that bread last night. I got like 4 pieces. And that cheese. I ate all the cereal and all the milk. Well, I got a little bit of cereal, but I drank all the milk. And I have no money on me right this minute. I would have to go to the bank. And it will suck going to the bank because I gotta ride. Everything I do, I ride. for the most part. You guys will see, when I get the car and stuff, I gotta fix it. I'm actually, you guys will laugh. I'm looking at a Ford Festiva, believe it or not. There's one listed for $4,000. And it's nice, man. And I need something really small and cheap, and it's got to have just enough room to be able to put my belongings in and stuff. But I might want to be able to sleep in it too, so I'm kind of thinking I might look at a wagon. I've been looking for like escort wagons, so I can sleep, Another thing, I talk to God through cards. I do. I talk to him. God uses numbers for everything, so, this is, kind of, I don't know why I do this, but, it's like a sailing thing, plus I did a lot of time, I play a lot of cards, we're gonna be on the boat, so, we're gonna be on the boat, I'm gonna be on the boat Margarita a lot, so we play cards a lot. That's what we do. We're gonna be playing cards a lot, poker a lot, many different games. I know a lot of games. My favorite is actually a Chinese game. It's called 13. It's an Asian game. Asians play it. They play it in their home. It's a really fun game. It's hard to, it's actually really hard to, understand it at first. But, we're gonna ask God for a number today. So, God, what's your number today? And what I'll do, I'll flip the card and I'll look for like whatever book in the Bible or something like that. I'll flip it and I'll look for that chapter. So, this is 10 of heart. So, let's go. 10 of heart. So, chapter 10. I was reading Exodus, so we'll go Exodus chapter 10. That's another thing with Bible reading. It's hard to find good Bibles that that are easy to read and translate stuff correctly. That's hard to find too. Let's see, Exodus 10. I'm going to see what it says. I'm going to read the whole chapter. And then, this is my Bible. I painted it. I journal on it. I spray paint it gold, copper and gold. I use that journaling all the time. So we're almost there. Let's see what it says. It could say anything. Who knows what it's going to say? Okay, it says, strike 8 locusts. So, Exodus, this is when Moses, actually, it's funny, I was just talking about Moses, how, God told the Egyptians, the Pharaoh, that he wanted his people back, and Pharaoh wasn't having it, neither was God. So, strike 8 locusts. So God said to Moses, go to Pharaoh, I made him stubborn, him and his servants, so that I can force him to look at these signs, and you'll be able to tell your children and grandchildren how I toyed with the Egyptians, like a cat with a mouse. You'll tell them the stories of the signs that I brought down on them, so that you all know that I am God. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh. Aaron was his brother, by the way. Moses had a lisp. He couldn't talk. He told God that. God told him, was like, well, I give you the words out of your mouth anyways. I'll be speaking, not you. And Moses was like, I still won't go. So God was like, all right, I'll just use your fucking brother. You're still going. Like, what the fuck? Well, you can't tell me no. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to the Pharaoh, God of the Hebrews, our living God, told us, how long are you going to refuse to knuckle under? It says, release my people so that they can worship me. If you refuse to release my people, watch out. Tomorrow I'm going to bring locusts in your country. They'll cover every square inch of ground. I want to be able to see the ground. They'll devour all your, locusts are crazy, man. They eat everything. They'll devour everything left over from the hailstorm, even the saplings out in the fields. They'll clear out, cut the trees. They'll invade your houses, filling the houses with your servants, filling every house in Egypt. Nobody will ever see anything like this from the time your ancestors first set foot on the soil until today. And then he turned and left on his heel, then left Pharaoh, he did a military, he did a little military turn, it says, and walked out, stormed out. He got to be scared, he's telling fucking Pharaoh, you got to do this and that. I'd be trembling like that. Pharaoh, you got to remember Pharaoh, all he has to do is say one thing, dude, dead. They're going to kill him, and he stormed out real quick because he knew that, he's like, I better get out of here before fucking dude changes, says something, I'm done, I'm cooked. People don't think about that stuff. So, Pharaoh's servant said to him, so Pharaoh, dude turned on his heel and left, and Pharaoh's servant ran up to him and says, how long are you going to let this man harass us? So Pharaoh's servant said to Pharaoh, like, this dude's harassing us, how long are you going to let this happen? Let these people go and worship their God. Can't you see that Egypt is on its last leg? So even the people were like, okay, dude, this is crazy. This shit's crazy. Like just let them go, man. Like, do you see all this stuff that's happening? Like, you still don't believe it? Like, it's crazy. Pharaoh's servant, so let these people go, So Moses and Aaron went back to Pharaoh. He said to them, go ahead, go worship your God. But just who exactly is going with you? Moses said, we're taking young and old sons and daughters, flocks and herds. This is our worship celebration of God. So, they were going to bring all the animals, and sacrifice and stuff. And which I'll talk about a lot of that stuff too. Why they sacrifice, They really sacrifice because they're, really because of Noah. And even before that, they sacrifice these animals to give an offering to God because they were appreciated that they had life, that they could breathe, God liked it. That was God's way, the way of them thanking God, and there's other things too, but, it says, God, it says, who are all coming with you, so, he said flocks, all of our women, men, our animals are going to go with us. So he said, I'd sooner send you off with the God's blessings and let you go with your children. Look, you're up to no good. It's written all over your faces. Nothing doing, just the men are going. Go ahead and worship God. So that's, he told basically you can go, but only the men can go. And, God said to Moses, stretch out your hand over Egypt, signal the locusts to cover the land of Egypt, devouring every blade, grass in the country, everything that the hail didn't get. Because, the hail, God already hailed the place. Moses stretched out his staff, and did it. The locusts covered the country of Egypt, settling over every square inch of the place. It was, it was covered. There was never an invasion of locusts like that in before. So they were like, what the fuck? This has got to be real, This person says it's going to happen, and then it happens. So, and, he had that, he had the thing in his hand, that represents a lot of stuff. That staff represents a lot. It represents power, all type of different things. And it wasn't the staff that had the power, it was the faith in the staff. Because God gave him the staff, God, told him to use the staff. So it was the faith in the staff that it was going to, that when he said what he said, God allowed it because God did it. God, was helping him. God was using Aaron and Moses. So yeah, that was happened, and that's what happened. It was completely covered, man, and it says Moses left Pharaoh and prayed to God. God reversed the wind. A powerful wind took the locusts and dumped them into the Red Sea. So, you gotta see, Moses felt bad. Moses like, come on, man, like, why, just, he felt bad, It was enough. It was enough for the people. And even Moses said, I've sinned against your God right here and against you, I not only have I created problems for you, I've created problems for myself because of my pridefulness, my stubbornness, because I needed slaves to make a temple, and I'm using these people, So, God didn't like it. God don't like when people use people, He made it all of us, it grieves Him. So, yeah, I'm gonna roll a joint. I had a I gotta get going soon. I gotta go get food. My stomach's growling. I don't have no food in here. So, that's another thing. People are not understanding why I don't, I go a couple days without eating sometimes, and, why I only buy a little bit of food. First of all, I'm gonna be sailing. You know, I can't put a lot of food on the boat, Whatever food's on the boat is gonna be just a little bit more than what I need to do the voyage or wherever it is I'm going. I might not even be going anywhere. I might be just in the marina. So, you never know what's gonna happen. I don't wanna my business, I got all these things going on. I do interviews with people, somebody might call me. I might be gone for weeks at a time, a couple of days at a time before I get back. And if I got food in the fridge, I got to worry about it, it's going to go bad. I waste money, or I got to go back there, go get it to eat it so I don't waste money, all these different circumstances, and another reason why I don't buy tons of groceries. I'll even prove to you I don't have tons of groceries. You can look in my fridge. Look, I got a little bit of bread, the cheese, like I said. That stuff's old. I had to throw that stuff out. And then nothing in the freezer. And all I got is this. I got some noodles. And I don't have any, noodle. You gotta bring noodles on the boat. Rice, noodles, flour. You gotta have that. You gotta have corn flour. That's Margarita. She makes tortilla with those for us all the time. Gowns, I can eat those, but who wants to eat this stuff right now? I don't want to eat this stuff this morning. And I don't have no chicken broth or, beef broth or anything like that. I could eat some peanut butter. I got some peanut butter left. Make some peanut butter, but I have no jelly. So I can't even have a peanut butter jelly sandwich. A peanut butter sandwich. Out in the ocean, that might be all you got, That might be the last bit you have until you get home, It might be the only thing you got ever, You never know what's going to happen out in sea, man. And I don't worry about that stuff either, I don't sit there and, worry like, oh my God, this is going to happen, so I don't go, So I just, I do things. I gotta load up this. So, you guys are gonna be seeing a lot of my computer stuff. So, I'm letting you guys into my personal life, man. It's kind of odd. I never thought I would do this. I always want to make a YouTube channel, but, I always, the topics, are going to be based on, whatever it is that the YouTube is about, and this is different. God told me to make life stories perspectives. That's what he told me to do. And, I've had many businesses before, So when I was in prison, these last 3 years, the third stay, I studied a lot, and I made my business plan. I was able to take my experiences from all my other places and put them in action. And then, I have my own cell, my own desk, everything. So, I was able to really, really, really put things in order, like this has got to be this, and this has got to be this. And I had time to think all that stuff out because I didn't have to worry about what I was doing the next day. That's why I say prison probably the best thing that ever happened to me. As far as me taking advantage of it, the time. Because it made me slow down, man. It forced me to sit down, and think about what I really wanted out of life, And I never did that before. I wanted everything. I wanted to be a fucking rapper, or I wanted to do this. Really, my biggest dream is a race car driver. Sailing and race car driving. Which I've done a lot of drifting, in my early 20s. I had friends, that, we were gonna go, we did things, but we all grew up fast, you know what I mean? And we all separated, and, I had a 240 SX, S14, which I'm trying to get back. They're selling it for 10 grand. I found it. It's clean. It's nice. They took care of it. Whoever I sold it to like 3 other people. It's already been like 3 other people owned it already. But you can. It's nice. They did a good job. And I know it's mine because of the sunroof too. The sunroof comes out instead of in. Mine was custom from the 90s. I'm old. So I gotta take this out. I gotta get a bigger SD card, but I want to do some videos today, hopefully. So I gotta take this out, and I wanted to see the video too. I updated it yesterday, so I haven't even uploaded the video yet from yesterday. That was another thing too. I was wondering about, like, I really want to try to upload the videos of that day, riding and stuff that same day, because it keeps me organized, and just other things too, I want to be you guys to have, like stuff to watch, and see, I don't want to upload something, like a bike ride a week later, and you guys see all these things, and then you see the bike ride, and you're like, wait a minute, he was just in Brazil or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to confuse people. So I gotta get this done, I gotta make sure I date everything, I do everything right. It's not so easy to do. So, I use Handbrake a lot, to convert my videos. It's Handbrake's probably the best one I found so far, open source, free. I'm sure there's other ones, but for free, open source, Linux based, Handbrake's probably the best for converting video. So what was the date yesterday? What's the date? I forget what the date was. 13th. So I gotta, I make folders. I just, I put the dates. So that's another thing. When you're building databases and stuff, using forward slashes and backslashes and stuff to find directories and everything, you gotta learn all that stuff. And if you use a terminal, when you're making directories and stuff, the longer the name of the folder, the more of a pain in the ass it is. So you really want to simplify your folders and stuff, and make your directory, the folders in line. You want to come up with your own system in a way. Everybody's system's different, It's hard to go into like a networking database and like see all these folders and how people arrange them, and they might have to be in a specific order because of the system. So if you mess things up, you gotta be really careful. You do. Especially with the Linux system. Because, most likely if you're running a Linux system, most times you're doing something advanced. You're running servers like Google and all that stuff. People don't know that their servers are Linux, man. Even the Windows servers, like all these like game systems and stuff, like all these servers that run for like Xbox and all that, yeah, they're Linux. They're Linux. Same with Android. Android's Linux. That was another thing. So years ago, I've always been a Linux geek, and growing up, it's helped me make a lot of money, and it's also caused problems too with people, like people and their opinions and their beliefs, they're wrong. And I would I had a girl named Robin. Her brother was a big World of Warcraft geek, and I never got into World of Warcraft. I was always the technical person, I did cars and, I was always fixing stuff, and building stuff, hacking, that type of stuff. I didn't play games. So, I always put Linux on her computer, and he would get mad. He'd get pissed because, he'd spend time and put Windows on there, which costs money, and then I would just get rid of it. And he wouldn't even ask Robin, like, what system do you prefer? You know what I mean? He would just get mad and just like, and like go use her computer without her permission. You know, like go up in her room and like see what's going on with her computer. And because I changed it and he couldn't fucking, spy on his sister or fucking whatever his weird ass was doing, he'd get mad. And so he he'd always bitch, complain like, you and your Linux, blah blah blah. That's the reason why it's open source. It'll never be anything. Windows is the way to go. You need to learn Windows. I'm like, all right. First of all, I know Windows. If I know Linux, I know Windows. First of all, second of all, I told him, his parents were there too, and a lot of people were there having like a little thing. I told him, I was like, everybody's gonna have a Linux on their desk. Everyone in the world, everybody's gonna have Linux on their desk. And it's funny because I was prophetically speaking, and I didn't even know it at the time, what prophetic speaking was. But I was prophetically speaking, and I told everyone that day that Linux was gonna be in everyone's desk, and it happened. It really did, but it wasn't in everyone's desk. It was in everyone's pocket. So, yeah, I was, you gotta remember I'm older, I was using Palm Pilots, I was, back in the day, I was using Palm Pilots to connect to my internet, and turn on my lights in my room and stuff, I was, when I was young, I was modifying PlayStation PSPs because my dad, his girlfriend, my dad, considered me to be too young to have a cell phone. Cell phones are really expensive in my day, and, to buy your kid a cell phone was serious stuff, and, they wouldn't buy me a cell phone, and you get all these kids that have these cell phones. I felt like shit. So, I bought a PSP myself and I modified it. I hacked the software to where I could modify and put my own software on there and do what I want with it. And I put Skype on there because the PSP has Wi-Fi, first of all, so you can connect to the internet. Second, it has a webcam, it has a microphone, it has all those things. So I was able to go to like McDonald's, and all these different places, connect to the internet, and I was able to make phone calls from my PSP, which was legit. And people, and I had all those games too. I had like all the Sonic games and, Nintendo games. I had all the emulators running on the system, on the PSP, and that's another thing I'm gonna be bringing. I gotta figure out all that stuff. My computers, I have like this one. I have over 1,000 ROMs on there. All the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, they're all been ripped and saved. I got this right here, this 4 terabyte hard drive. There's probably like 5 gigabytes worth of just ROMs, Nintendo ROMs. So, there'll be things to do on the boat, there'll be games to play, like I'm gonna get a Nintendo, Switch, and I already had one, I bought it and I liked it and I sold it. I'm gonna get another one. I needed the money, and I don't use the system as much as I thought I would use it, but I did. I like playing the Mario games. Those are the games that I like still playing. Out of all the stuff, like out of all the games I grew up with, those are the games I like to play still. Mario. It's the only one that stuck with me. Donkey Kong. Serious. Donkey Kong and Mario. Those are the only ones I really care for. And Grand Theft Auto, people don't know. I skipped freshman year. I didn't go to school all freshman year. I played San Andreas. Smoked weed. I sold weed. Serious. Made a lot of money that summer. A lot of money. So, my dad, we got an apartment together. I'm 15, smoking weed, and moved out to Livonia. So, it was all preppy kids, and I was from Dearborn, from Detroit area, Radford area. So I was selling weed. The girls, like my girlfriends, would come over and smoke weed. I dated a set of twins, actually, Laura and Rachel, and both of them are beautiful. I never even did anything with them, but they're both beautiful and they're both good women. And I dated both of them at different times. You know, but they would come over and smoke weed all the time. It was funny because my dad would, my dad would leave me $20 every day for food to go to school. And I didn't go to school. I would take the $20, tell him I went to school, and go get weed. And then I was like, well, fuck this. I can use the money, save up the money, and I can buy a big bag of weed for my brother. So my brother would, sell at the time, and that's what I did. I worked my way up to a quarter pound, half pound. And I just played video games every day. My dad would get up. He'd put the money on the table and he would go, he didn't, it was my two older brother's father too, so I, thinking about it, I understand why he didn't, I get why he didn't tell me what to do all the time, he felt like that wasn't his place, and I'm thankful for the man, I really am. I just don't see him here. He's blocked my phone because of us fighting over Jesus and my margarita, me moving down to Florida, and all this stuff, man. And my family, my brother coming over here trying to tell me all this stuff was my dad's, and I didn't earn any of it, and that I had to get out this house, and that he was moving in, and that I was gonna be on the street, and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. I was like, first of all, this stuff is not yours. And I made Mike, I'm like, Mike, my dad, I'm like, is any of this stuff yours? He looked at me and looked at it crazy. He said, no, none of it's mine. I'm like, all right. I'm like, in the house, who pays the bills? Well, we split the bills, Jonathan. Yeah, we split the bills. So, now he's gone. I don't want to stay here. Margarita's not here with me. And it hurts to be here. It hurts to be here. I'm reminded of it all day. You know what I mean? Every time I come home. I love this home. I'm not, there's nothing wrong with being here. I would still stay here if, Margarita was, going to be coming here and stuff. But, things change and I'm chasing my dreams now. And, I'm in the position where I can go down there and, that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm going. I've been planning this for a long time. Even before I started getting in trouble and all this, I have papers, I have dreams, I have diaries, I have, journals and stuff, from all these years, so that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna get off the phone. I'm gonna go eat, smoke a joint, and, check my Facebook. I gotta check my emails. I didn't check my emails this morning. I don't know what I'm gonna do about making money today. There's a few things I can do online, which eventually I'll show you guys, the stuff I do to make money. All these little different things. Legal ways to make money, by the way. There's so many different little things you can do. Which I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff, actually. But yeah, I gotta go, man. I gotta go. And figure out stuff and figure out my day. I'll talk to you guys later, alright? Y'all have a good day. God bless.